Welcome back to my shop. Today on Hangin With Harv, we're back here at the CNC machine where we're going to be working on a thank you gift for a local swimming coach who happens to be retiring this year. So stick around and see how I turn this average piece of cherry veneer plywood into a one-of-a-kind thank you gift. Okay, we've got the, whatever we're calling this, our gratitude plaque. We've got it off of the CNC. Now I'm just going to come in here with a chisel and break it free. Thank you, assistant. You're my Vanna White. Guess that makes me Pat Sajak. I don't know if that says much, but I shouldn't say that. I don't know Pat Sajak. Maybe a wonderful person. And we're just going to kind of use this razor to cut some of the, we'll call it tape fuzzies, so that they don't interfere with our painting. Alright, now in order to paint this, what I'm going to do, I'm doing a two different colors for this one. So I'm just going to kind of tape off the areas that I don't want to paint right now. Alright, now let's go get our black.
Hi! Hello! This is my picture frame. It's a little picture frame. Hi, I'm squished.
Hi. Happy St. Patrick's Day!
Yeah!
Luck of the Irish, eh? Luck of the Irish! Have a pint on us!
Hopefully that you don't get your house trashed.
Hopefully your trash don't get into your house. All right. Well, it's been a few hours since we completed the paint job. Now we're going to go ahead and start taking all the tape off and see how it turned out. Shit, I think I just sanded through. What the hell did I sand through? That's not nice. Alright. Now we're going to go and we're going to paint all the edges here to hide the plywood and cover up our mistake. We let the paint dry on this edging, on the edge of it here, overnight. Now we're just going to come back and take the tape here off of the face. Well, okay, basically this is what the sign started to turn out to be. If you notice here, I was trying to get into this tight corner here with the sander to round that off to match the rest, and I burned through the veneer, and so I went ahead and sanded the rest of the veneer off of the foot here of the shamrock, thinking maybe that'll turn out. But when I put the first coat of finish on it, I did not like how it looked at all, so I thought, all right, that's got to go. So we recut it. So I made a couple changes to the G code. I increased the size of this here. I put a quarter. This used to come to like a point basically, and so I put a 1/4 inch fillet in here. I did the same thing here and here in order to allow the ability to bring my router in there with a round over bit in it. So now that we've painted all of this, we're going to just pull off all the tape, and hopefully for the second time around we have better success. The other thing I did this time around, one of the reasons that I chose to paint this green was because I was having a hard time getting the green paint off of this area in here because of how tight it is. I just had a hard time getting the paint off, and I thought, well, maybe that'll look all right. I put tape on here, painted this, and then of course I couldn't get some of the stupid green paint off of this corner. I just kept sanding and sanding, and it sucked into the, into the edges. So this time around, before I painted the letters, I went ahead and taped off all the edge, hoping that would, limit the amount of paint that got onto the edging that I had to sand off. All right, there we have coat number 1 on our sign. And here we see that bottom foot detail, the difference. I really like the way the other one came out. Just as a comparison. Now you can see a comparison of the two signs, how they turned out, or how they're turning out. See where I obviously sanded through the veneer a lot here. This veneer turned out to be much thinner veneer than I had on the previous sheet that I purchased. They must have changed the amount of veneer. So I actually got a little bit of a sand through here on that H, and there's not really anything I can do about it. So we'll see what happens. I may just finish them both and let the customer decide which one they prefer. If only I had stopped a little bit sooner on the sanding of that H. We've got a couple very light coats of our finish on. And I think the sign is looking pretty good. I'm pleased with it at this point. Okay, guys. Well, I think we're up to our 4th coat of the finish. Again, it's a finish that you build up in layers, so you just keep applying thin layer after thin layer, and eventually you'll build a nice sheen. Ultimately, it's got to soak into the wood, right? So what we're doing is we're having this finish is really being absorbed into the pores of the wood, and once the wood stops absorbing, it will obviously then start to build more and more of a film on the outside of a layer. So that's kind of what ultimately what we're looking for, is for it to continue to darken and build that nice layer, that nice sheen. All right, so as you can see, I've got the 2 signs, this being the first sign I made where we kind of had a mishap and sanded through the veneer down here while trying to round that. I'm continuing to finish this one as well as the other one. My thought there being that I would ultimately let them decide which one they prefer. They can have either. And so I just have continued, like I said, to finish these both. With that in mind. And one of the things that I really started to like the more I finished this, is I really did like the way that green border or edge kind of looked. I think it dresses it up a little bit. The more I looked at this one, where you can still see the plywood edge, even though it is a hardwood cherry, it is still plywood. And so the more I looked at that and I compared it with the kind of the look that this gives you, I really liked it. So I started hand painting kind of that green band around it, if you will. And so I've got 1 coat on this side here, and you can still see the plywood through it, but I'm going to put 2 coats on ultimately. So what I'm going to continue doing is I'm going to continue that band all the way around the rest of the shamrock. So that's what we're going to get going on today.